Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order. Roll call, sir.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
Commissioner Mullins. Quorum is present.
Okay, let's all stand as you desire. Pledge and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask for your presence and your guidance as we do the business of the county. So thankful for all we enjoy. We ask that you continue to watch over us individually and collectively. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Our consent agenda is on the board. It's approval of last week's regular meeting minutes. And the sales tax report, I'll give that later. The monthly reports from the treasurer, collector, and recorder of deeds. The appointment orders for Angela Mayfield for the collector, Jessica Monchelet for the IT, and Jeremy Reyes for the prosecuting attorney, and Beth Elser for the family treatment report. Also, removal of inventory from the JDC. I checked, that is the item we approved 2 weeks ago, and we have the paperwork in on the removal from the inventory for that item and the replacement with the new item. So we got that. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have one tabled agenda item, and it's Mr. Goggin. Is he here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Come on up. Start out with your name, please.
Good morning, sir. Philip Goggin.
Good morning.
This is just a continuance of the request that I had made in the middle of January in order to request that the commission waive a penalty based upon circumstances that were out of my control at that time. And I've submitted multiple documents, even a letter from the Postal Service indicating that they failed to follow proper policy and procedure. Yeah. I wanted to add one additional thing. After the meeting, I guess it was last week. Yes, thank you. I had a nice conversation with Mrs. Williams from the collector's office, and I want to, as a side note, commend her. She spent a little bit of time with me. She was very polite and accommodating. And one thing that was mentioned is that during the last meeting, they had no way to get a hold of me. They tried to call, but no number and so forth. So she expressed to me that they sent out a document to the title company getting my information because I made the statement. You called me initially to verify my address, but then you stated that you had no way of getting a hold of me. So there's this kind of difference there. So she was supposed to send this to you three gentlemen and go speak to you all individually as she indicated, but this is the document here that's in her office that has both my personal home address, my phone number on it with my contact information. This information is also in the large document of deeds that sits in her office, and we verified that together. So in light of this, I want to submit this again to say my contact information was there. I have, really done my due diligence to try to make sure that I track that bill down, which I did appropriately, and I followed every channel. And simply just asking that, and no fault of mine, should this penalty have been assessed? I understand why and how it appeared, but in light of all this, I would again graciously ask that the commission reconsider their decision to waive the penalties for January, February, and what is due, and simply just pay the initial tax obligation. I have no problem doing that, but again, I've pointed out all these things that have been failures along this system. Not necessarily one person or anything individual. It's just a gross failure in general. So, did you gentlemen happen to receive a copy of that from Pamela?
Yes, and for a very, let's go back to the root cause of what the problem was.
Yes, sir.
What was the initial problem?
Yes, sir. So the initial issue is that when they tried to mail the letter out to me, may I step forward and give this to you, sir?
Sure.
As you can see there, sir, that is the copy of the letter from the post office. The note on the delivery address says building vacant, unable to deliver. And the frustration came in that I have,
Please kill your phones.
the issue is that I had received other bills there, including my Spire natural gas bill and several other documents at that address. So I was unclear as to why that was not delivered. Now, according to Pamela's office, they had actually mailed it out twice. So I went to the post office to inquire as to why this was not delivered, and I had a chance to speak with the director of the Park Hills office where they do delivery, and
Okay.
that letter there that I just handed you, sir, is from the director of that office indicating that
I've
they...
seen this.
Yes, okay, so that just simply says that they did not follow policy, nor did they follow procedure. The letter does not indicate this, but it was expressed to me that that full-time carrier for that route had moved to Bonne Terre, and they were having fill-in carriers at that location. And she did not offer that as an excuse, simply just a matter of fact. And so this is where that issue came in at. It took several weeks for that mail to make through its process. I kept checking the mail for that bill. It did not come in. That was at Christmas time into the new year, so immediately following that, I came into the office to find the bill, which is where I found that letter. I immediately came to the office to request a meeting to say, hey, listen, you know, not trying to avoid this penalty. I understand things get missed and located, and so that's where we are today, sir, with several other concerns.
Okay. And it looks as if it definitely was a mail glitch.
Yes,
on
sir.
the wrong road.
Yes, sir.
And so we have two basic questions we always ask.
Yes, sir.
Was it the county's fault? That's, I think we settled that. Between that and the address, I think it was the problem. And secondly, are you willing to pay that, prepared to pay that full bill right away?
Yes, sir,
Before
absolutely.
the end of the month?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's never been a concern. I simply did not want to pay a bill and not know if that could either be refunded. And I had a chance to speak with this young lady here who said, go ahead and pay it and so forth. So I have requested the funds from the bank because this is coming out of some funds that we have there for this new building. And so that can be released at any time, and I have no problem paying that.
If the full bill's not paid, then the penalty and interest continues to accrue.
Understandable,
So
sir.
that's the problem with that.
Agreed.
Okay,
So how much do we have right now?
yeah, do we have that amount? Here are your forms back.
Oh. Thank you, sir. So according to the tax statement, we are now in March. So the original amount was $7,097.38. As it stands right now with March, it's $8,211.48.
Now, that's taxes plus penalty plus interest.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Yeah, we'll need to know the total amount of the penalty plus interest.
Certainly, I can do that.
Okay, we'll need that mathematics before it's over, and I don't see Pam around. But,
No, I don't need that.
we'll need that amount. So if you can, and before we can make the motion, yes.
Commissioner, you currently have a motion not to, that's both the payment and the January's penalty. So if you
Okay,
change
so
your
that was-
mind on that, you'll have to have a motion to reconsider.
Okay, would you please read that motion, please?
Well, the motion was not to waive the penalty and interest for the January for being late, since it was the post office's fault. If there's a discrepancy between the January and today, that would be probably 2 months of about approximately $200 and some odd, but you need to get the exact amount.
That's what I'm saying.
That's still in limbo. If you plan on going back and adjusting the January and payment and interest, then you'll have to have a motion to reconsider that, and then make a motion to either pay all 3 penalties or have a motion to pay the March and the February, or waive the March and the February. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
You've already said not to do the January, so if you change, I don't care what you do, if you change your mind, then you have to have a motion to reconsider. If you just act upon the February and the March, you can do so accordingly.
I think there's sufficient evidence that, you know, on our part, that there might have been some confusion, so I would move that we, waive the penalty and interest, or I'm sorry, the penalty and interest
February, March.
And is it my understanding that you would not waive it for January?
Well,
There's a lot of verbiage there I didn't fully understand, and I don't,
yeah, I think that's the motion, and I concur is that there was errors on both parts here, I think, and we can share, some of that liability. I don't know what the penalty was for January, but that's already been, addressed in the earlier meeting in January. But I'd second the motion to, waive interest and penalty for February and March,
and
as long as it's paid by the end of March.
yes, sir. So just so I don't make any misunderstanding, I do understand that the penalty for January was essentially voted on January 28th to not be waived. So the commission is simply stating that they are willing to waive February and March, and if that is the case, I would kindly.
Because we dropped the ball on that one. We misunderstood, and I dropped the ball. I was out 2 or 3 days.
Certainly, and I appreciate that statement, sir. I would kindly ask that the commission reconsider the penalty for January as well, as coming into January, the root cause of all this started pre-January. It didn't occur in January, therefore, in my opinion, the penalty should be waived. That only the original tax due of $7,097.38 be paid, and I have no problem paying that by the end of the month.
Okay, but was the base problem because the post office messed up, or was the address that we had on file wrong?
No, the address was correct.
Okay,
That
so
was,
it's post office problem.
that's correct.
So that, okay, we can't waive that month. But since we dropped the ball, I dropped the ball in those last 2 months, when we thought that was being taken care of, and the penalty was still accruing.
Certainly.
We can drop that because it was my fault.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Certainly understand.
We can do that. But the first month was not the county fault. See how we're looking at the 2 different rules?
Certainly, I understand where you're going at. I respectfully disagree. In regards to the point on January, again, I did everything I could to try to track this bill down. And so if I do my due diligence to track this down, to track this down, and another organization drops the ball on it, they're not penalized. Unfortunately, I
But the key
am.
word is another organization. We can't control the post office.
Well, I understand that. And I'm not trying to be argumentative, just simply just state my point because, again, even Pamela said that they had my contact information. So, I appreciate this commission's
It may
time.
just, well, be a good, notice to address your tax things earlier or check them earlier. or
Well,
how-
all due respect, sir, they called me at the end of November and I gave, there was sufficient time to mail that. And so I waited until I could no longer find it. By that point, we were into the holiday season. So it wasn't a matter of me just going, well, whenever. I really did try to track this thing down as best as I could. So I understand what you're saying, and again, not trying to be argumentative, just
I understand.
counterpoint.
I have a motion, yes, Kevin?
I want to clarify that motion. That motion is for the penalty and interest from February, March. We don't have the exact amount, but we will have the exact amount, but that's what it's for, correct?
So just state for those 2 months.
Yeah, that's correct. I just want to make sure we don't have that figure, but that's the exact amount that we are making a motion for.
All right, I have a motion second. Any questions? Seeing none, do I have, all in favor, aye? Aye. All right, thank you. So you need to pay the penalty, the full amount taxes,
Yes, sir.
plus the January penalty, and then the rest of it will do it.
Okay.
And do it before the end of the month.
Who, and is there, I'm sorry, sir, say that again, sir.
Before April, you need.
Oh,
to-
yeah,
before the end of the
absolutely.
month, exactly.
Absolutely. And who do I verify that exact amount with?
They will, well, the collector's office will have it.
Okay, I'll verify with
It
them.
should be listed on your.
Sure, I just want to make sure that
Kevin, don't we
nothing
do
is
some
misconstrued.
Documentation on this first?
We will, but you specify what the amount would be. I just have to find out what that exact
So you
amount is.
need the dollar amount, not the months, okay.
Well, we can take the months. That's a finite amount. I just don't know what that finite amount is.
Well, were you
But
going to
do.
do this today?
No, sir, I don't have
Okay,
time.
all right.
I
So we've
apologize.
got another day to get that set up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Come to the clerk's office,
Yeah.
what time tomorrow?
And we'll have it ready anytime after 8.
Okay, thank you. Come to the clerk's office
Thank you.
first, then collector's office.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next item is opening of the annual bids.
Okay, the first bid is in the container. We're gonna open it here because we don't know what it's for.
And I saw one came to me yesterday, and it's not marked as a bid now.
Inside it will say what it's for,
We hope.
but it's just annual bid, like we can go
Now,
on one bid, but we have 10, so.
The one I saw had the return address on it, and that was a clue, I thought. I don't know. To all the bidders out there, please put on there what the bid's for.
Gets fuel. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Is this what we're looking now, is fuels? All right, we'll do fuel. Now, how we're gonna do it, per bid, we will lay them out. If you're here, one of the bidders, you're welcome to come up and take a picture of the bids. Then when we take them away, they'll go to the auditor's office to make sure that the bids were in accordance with the bid. And we will normally make copies. We are not making the date because we're running an election right now, which is taking up most of our time. So we have, how many bids? 1, 2,
For fuel?
for fuel. That's it? There's 3 bids
So
for
if
fuel.
you have any fuel bidders out there, you're welcome to come up and photograph these bids.
Any fuel bidders?
Okay, we'll take those bids off
Then we'll
the
take
table.
those off the table.
The table will be filled.
What's this going to be the next one? Aggregate.
Now, you said you had 2 unmarked bids?
No, one of them was for that.
Okay, so you have that.
We're done
Okay.
with the unmarked stuff, I think.
What's the next topic? Okay, that means we have a rock. Sand. Riprap.
Is anybody here bidding on the aggregate? Hold on a second, we'll let you come.
We'll let you know when we come up. We'll give you a few minutes to your double checking.
4 bids. Is that it? Just one thing.
Got how many bids?
Looks like 5 bids.
5 bids for aggregate? Okay, we got them all out?
Nope, hold on a second. One's sealed inside the other, so we have 2 more.
There's man, anxious. Okay, is that all the aggregate bids?
We have,
Okay, anybody want to come forward and take pictures of those real quick?
Yep. Well, you don't alter them in any way, but you're welcome to take pictures.
Both sides you can do movies.
May have another bid.
we have one.
Asphalt aggregate.
That's all from Leadville Asphalt and aggregate.
You have another bid. Would you recognize the letter? They can't find it.
Yeah, it was,
No,
there it is.
Thank you.
So this has got both of them.
Asphalt and
Yes.
aggregate, yes.
Here's the asphalt.
This is asphalt and this is.
This is your, you want to take a look at this?
I got it in the same envelope. Here's
Yeah,
aggregate.
here's asphalt. Got that in asphalt.
This one is one.
That's part of the asphalt part.
They were on separate pages, the asphalt and aggregate.
Yeah,
Yes.
part of the asphalt.
They were the same on that. They were in good shape.
Asphalt bid.
I got them.
Do we have other asphalt bids?
This is the big bid opening of the year.
There is now.
Yes, there is now.
Now, are you happy that all yours
So
are out?
aggregate and asphalt as well.
Yes.
I am too.
And now we have both of them out there.
Okay, asphalt's out too. Any other asphalt bidders?
Some of I no bid on both.
Or aggregate.
He said. Okay, I think we're done with this.
Take those.
Culvert pipe. Culvert pipe.
We have 2 bids for culvert pipe. Yeah. Okay, anybody here with culvert pipe?
Yeah.
Then take your pictures.
Are the entire bids on the face page?
You may have to turn over the second page if it's.
I didn't know if they were on different sides there.
As long as they're not altered, I'm free to turn over. What's next? Concrete.
There will be no action on any of these bids today. We're just accepting them, opening them, telling the public, and then we will go through the, thank you. We'll go through the procedures, check and make sure that they fulfill all the criteria.
Next, concrete.
We'll work on the next. Concrete. We'll be open next.
First is from Licks.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Don't do that.
Yum.
General Customs.
Just don't bring out the blizzard. That's all I have for you to request.
While they're waiting, just general note, we had, so far we've had good turnout, not great turnout at the elections. And for, I know it's already on the internet, we made somebody take off their hat. If that is ordinance for the state, you cannot be wearing someone's,
Not wearing a hat in here today.
their campaign hat for somebody, so, and they took exception that we would,
And he missed that sign that he put up outside the door saying, don't do that
Yeah.
within 25 feet of the poles.
what is this for? Signs.
It's hard to get good help anymore.
Harold, if I may, that is not a local requirement, that's pretty much across the
I
country.
know, but I think he knew about the sign.
Okay, I think we all need to understand that it's not just local.
Yeah. Good
Yeah, he took it like that we had something against, no, we can't allow anyone to wear campaign material. There are your signs. Anybody here for the signs?
Signs. And we're going for salt next, and I can't wait to hear the bad joke I'm gonna
No,
hear on that
no,
one.
no, no.
Don't have a joke on that one, okay.
Salt?
Look at that. Look at salt. Kosher. I asked a waitress one time if her ham was kosher. She didn't know, she went to get the ham.
If the ham was kosher?
Yeah.
I had a kosher pig one time.
And I think they finally called it an
Sophie's
restaurant. Like, oh, wait.
2 salt bids?
No, there's a.
No, we got more.
Two bids for salt?
No,
Oh, 5, 6, okay.
More when it rains.
Wasn't that a slogan for a salt company?
More.
Okay.
Those, you don't remember that, when it rains, it pours. In Carb Hill. What's that?
Salt.
Okay, is that all the salt?
Salt, we have
Any
5
salt
salt, any
bidders?
salt bidders?
Salt shakers, movers and shakers?
Shakers.
I came up with a bad one, but other than that, short notice, you know. No salt bitters out there, okay, we can put those up.
We only have one bidder for road oil.
We always do. That was happy. One of them picked up on it.
It wasn't slick. Tires, it's the next one's tire bids. How many do we have for tires?
That's sheriff's, that's Road and Bridge.
The difference between sheriff's and road and bridge.
Yes, there'll be a difference, yeah, considerable.
Mm-hmm. They don't have too many of them. Tires.
These are all fleet.
Okay.
Okay, all the tire bids out?
Nope.
Nope.
Last one. So these are all the tires? All right. Anybody here bidding for tires? You're welcome to come take a picture if you are. Okay, then just take those away.
Okay, no tire bidders. Okay, there they go.
And we're gonna separate sheriffs as well.
Yes.
Separate file.
Yes. When the bid, show that to the auditor, make sure that he's got, and we'll award the bid separately.
Now what?
Lubricant.
Oils.
Right here looking at lubricant bids.
Lubricants. Oil.
There you go.
That's all the oils?
No, here's tires and hydraulic oil.
Okay.
Tires and hydraulic oil.
They're not the same, so you're gonna have to
Yeah.
separate that.
This is just
Another one, two bids in one envelope, there were no tire bidders here, so this
Is there anybody here that's looking for office supplies?
This
Bids.
is,
We got a lot of those, so we'll set them up here in order.
road oil.
and these must be open publicly.
This is sheriff's and Bridge. That's our letterhead. See how it's separated?
No, and you're working on loose
We are.
That's one stuff. And then this will go there.
Why do we? All right. We have food suppliers, juvenile and sheriffs.
Oh, oils, I was thinking, we had that, have done fuel with that. Now, the fuel's different from oil.
Yes.
That would've been pretty
Not unless there's something.
Kevin, what was that last one you had?
Did they be
The last one was for
oil
food.
price plus or what? How they measure it? Cost plus.
Do we have somebody for that?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Take pictures of that, please.
That's what I'm saying. We're not there.
Trying to separate like
Is that you? Fine, is it you? Okay, this is for,
this is various, that's trash.
waste.
What's the topic now?
Waste. This is what vending. Already have one for vending. Vending machines, we asked for bids for it.
Only one bid for vending?
so far, these are all
They're all mixed up.
under the same.
Okay, you're in the unmarked list now.
Yes.
I mean, I have a file that I think is for Brian, but the office supplies.
Having more fun.
Print items.
What is it?
It's just, it's printing.
Brent?
Here's I had a little thing, so this is kind of heavy, so you know, I'll have a lever on the right side. So you stick an envelope or one of these in there and hit the lever, and have your sugar come down, put about 16 cents off that envelope. Never would get into the product. And it was great, it was fast. Once a month, we'd have to. Nice and efficient. Still make them.
All right, everything else is various office supplies. Some providers bid on some providers bid on all. So if you're here for
The office supply bidders
office
now.
supplies, come forward.
And what other topics do you have?
This is all like Brian's pest control, lawn care.
Okay, but we'll have to do that today too.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
But
is
that's
this all office supplies here?
We're heading into pest control and different office supplies and stuff like that. And that's the last one. We're getting toward the end.
All office supplies.
And that is what?
It's still office supplies.
Still office supplies.
We have like 10 bidders on office supplies. There's more office supplies. Now, the last couple we'll keep over here,
Pest control.
and that's pest control,
Floor tiles,
floor tiles,
pest mowing.
pest control, mowing. I believe these are all under Brian's.
Under maintenance department.
Maintenance department bid.
So we are getting toward the end of it.
Janitorial supplies. Maintenance supplies. Lighting, that's under maintenance also. What's this one for? This is, maintenance janitorial supplies,
Lawn.
lawn cutting. So all of your maintenance will be over here.
Is there anyone here for lawns and lighting and
Maintenance.
pest control? No. Anybody here for those items? Okay.
I think everybody else left us
Okay.
regulars.
Okay. So are we finished with the bid opening?
We don't have any more envelopes, so I guess.
Okay, we are finished with the bid opening. Our next agenda item is purchase new copier under state contract. Mr. Graff wants to speak to that.
Jay Craft, Recorder of Deeds office. Our office is looking to buy a new copier. Our old one had its years up, and we're going with somebody that's on the state contract bid list, and it's over $6,000. It's $6,900.71.
How big is this thing?
How big is it?
Yeah.
It's about that big.
Okay.
It's our regular
The
full.
plate, it's what, 11 to 17 or whatever, is it that big?
We're not going that size. We don't necessarily need that in our office. We're
Legal
going with a
size.
couple others, trays to hold more 8 by 8.5 by 11 size. And it's over the 6,000 mark, so we had to ask for permission to go with that. And it's going with GFI Digital. They're the ones that are on that bid list, so.
Be nice if we could coordinate all those grants and buy
Well, we
one.
kinda
one
did.
truck
I
load.
believe,
Commissioner, they are.
Yeah.
They are coordinated.
Okay, well,
That's why we went out and looked at the auditor's office, and I understand, other folks have them, so, and the, service technicians are really work in our area, so, they're all
we
gonna
have
be
3
similar.
grants back here.
Well, that's the commission's.
Yeah.
They're old too. On the recommendation of recorder deeds, I move that we award the bid for the copier.
Second? Second. Questions? Hearing none, do I have a approval of this, second? Motion and second. Aye. Aye, thank you, Jay.
Appreciate it.
Okay, next one will be Mr. Rupp, who's going to talk about waiving penalty interest on the residents on Parkside and Deloach, at Parkside and Deloach.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Jesse, can you start with your name?
Yes, Jesse Rock. I do have there's 3 similar cases like Mr. Goggins that I noticed. One was Susan Robinson. She
What was
lives
the date
on,
on that?
she lives on North Parkside
Okay.
in Deloach. I cannot find the meeting, the minutes I went through. I could not find it, but I did go over and interview her. She said she came in around February or March.
Of last year.
At 19 correct. She said it was a mailing issue.
She came in and talked to the commission, or
She
came
did.
into the?
She did.
I watched your video. She said that we mailed it to the wrong spot.
Correct. She said
That was our mistake.
there was a mailing issue and
Yeah, we mailed it to the wrong, we mailed it to an address that she said that she never lived at in Farmington.
Okay, but what address is on the record?
The Loge, our park,
It's
it was on
the
record,
Parkside.
and she said on that video that she's never lived there, and it was inadvertently sent to Farmington, and Pam had acknowledged that they sent it to the wrong place.
Okay, and so we didn't approve that or what?
you did.
We did approve it,
You
okay.
guys did approve it. Another
And
one
how,
was,
do you know this lady personally and,
I do. I
Okay.
used to live by her.
okay, all right.
Another one was Tracy Black. You guys
Okay.
approved. Another one was Neil Holler, December 18th, 2018.
On the Tracy Black, what was the date of that? I have it,
Do you?
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And what date do you have on there?
On that one, we didn't have a quorum, and, at the meeting. And, we did not find a reason to waive the penalty and interest because, okay, that was. It was in the amount of 61 cents, the total penalty and interest. And we did like we did this morning, we waived it for the February and March, but not the January. So she had to pay the 61 cents. And, we just couldn't find a reason to waive it. She apparently couldn't prove that it was our fault. That's what the minutes say.
I'll look that one up too. What's the third?
Neil Holler, December 18th, 2018.
I don't go back that far in my records, or in this record, in my search.
Matter of fact, I have the,
Okay. Well, that's all right. Read it to me, please.
it's similar
Okay.
to Mr. Goggins,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I was just saying, everything needs to be consistent across the board.
What was Neil's last name? I'm sorry, I'm taking.
Holler, Haller.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
I feel like Mr. Goggins isn't being treated
Well, okay, tell me about Mr. Hall, in your words. Tell me about what happened at that case, Mr. Hall.
Well, I was gonna play the video and let
In your
you
words.
listen to it yourself. Basically, you guys waived the late fees and penalties for him, so.
What was the reason?
Yeah, what was the reason?
So there
for
needs to be
penalty
much
to
more
start with?
information there.
We have two rules. It's gotta be the county's fault, and they've gotta pay the bill before we can waive it. That's two absolute rules, and by state law.
And so you're saying we're inconsistent with that?
I believe you guys are.
Well, point it out. I mean,
Tell us how,
we need more
Mr. Hall,
information.
tell us how we failed there.
I haven't spoke to Mr. Hall.
Okay.
Personally, I just seen the video, that's it,
Okay.
and
The
he,
video of this meeting? or-
Yes.
Okay.
and you guys, he presented his case, and you guys took care of the late fees and penalties.
Okay, so we took care of the late fees and penalties.
You waived them, yes.
We waived, okay. So apparently in that case, we were satisfied that it was a county issue.
Because it was a mailing issue.
Okay, and apparently that dates back to the wrong addresses on file. Maybe when he went to the assessor's office, that didn't get transferred over to the collector's office. I'm guessing here, I don't know the case, but that happens on occasion. And so we couldn't be, so we did waive that one, so we were satisfied that they didn't get the correct address at the collector's office in which to send out the paperwork. Two absolute rules. Gotta make sure it's the county's fault, and taxes gotta be paid in full, or it keeps accumulating. We'd have to waive it up to that point if we did waive it, but if they don't pay it, then it keeps.
Can I,
Go ahead.
I'm still not real clear here. Your concern or complaint or your comments are that we're not consistent with this rule?
I believe that they're not consistent.
We need some more clarity on why and how.
I'd like to see the minutes on it. I tried to get Miss Robinson's, I couldn't, I went through every single.
Ms. Robinson, please.
Correct. Susan Robinson, the
I
the
thought
one
we
that
were
was.
on Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on call.
Are we talking about Mr. Hall, or are
There's-
we talking about Susan Robinson, or Terry?
I didn't
Black?
pull up the minutes
Understand.
from Miss Robinson on your guys' websites. Can I
Is that yet
provide
another
anything
case?
On, what's that?
Is Robinson yet another case?
Yes.
Okay,
That's,
okay, you hadn't brought that one up yet. Okay.
That's the first.
that's the first
Well,
one
that's
that was
the
on
first
court
name.
side, you know.
Okay. All right,
She has the same thing, mailing issues as far as.
okay.
not
And that
getting-
happens, there's what, many thousands of letters go out in that short time frame. I heard the figure one time, it's scary.
I'd like to get the minutes on Tracy Black and the Neil Holler. Kevin.
Which one's Tracy Black, what's the date then?
It's in the minutes of May 21. No. January 29.
Is that the one for 61 cents,
Yes.
January
I believe it's a little.
of 19?
No, that's a different one. Okay, I'm looking at a different one.
I know I spoke with Linda, she didn't have time.
March 12 minutes on that. Of 19.
Still not sure what the point is. I mean, you're pointing out that we're inconsistent, but you don't have that record?
I like to get those minutes, I tried to get that
I
record.
know, but you don't have the
actually.
record, you're assuming
I
you didn't.
tried to get the record from Linda.
I'm saying that you're making this comment without having the facts. Is that what you're saying?
Well, why don't we do this, why don't we put this on hold until they're looking up the minutes right now? And then we'll examine
Go to the next
Go to the
item and
next
come
item,
back to
come
that.
back.
We can do that. I've got to put 2 or 3 more items. Let's just,
Table that. until-
let them get the minutes out, and then we'll come back to this after the next 2 or 3 items. We have Mr. Duncan going to be talking about software upgrade at the MIBRS for the sheriff's department. You're gonna have to tell us what this stands
Dan Duncan, IT. So the sheriff's department software, the Spillman Record Management, Motorola, whatever you want to call them these days. This is where the sheriff's department uses to enter all the reports, the sex offenders, everything that they do, all their data entry goes into this Spillman system. The federal government is making us do an unfunded mandate by switching from UCR, which is what we currently report each month, Uniform Crime Reporting, to the state. They're switching us to what's called MIBRS, Missouri Incident-Based Crime Reporting. With that, in order for us to be compliant, we need this additional module with our current RMS system. Once that's up installed and running, I have to have 3 consecutive months of 96% approval rating when I submit the non-MIBRS to the state, to the feds, before they certify St. Francis County Sheriff's Department as a compliant reporting agency. So this is not a budgeted item. This was something that was brought up earlier this year from our current vendor. And I'm requesting the commissioner to allow us to purchase this additional module for the Sheriff's Department from a fund that the sheriff has in the amount of $22,563.95. Again, that additional module, that is the Missouri IBR, along with on-site training. Well, they'll come and provide training on how it is to be effectively wrote for each report. Again, that number is $22,563.95 upfront, and then we'll have an annual maintenance that they'll need to put in.
And you said this is, sheriff has funds for it?
He does have a fund. It is the equitable sharing fund that he has. And looking at all the rules and guidelines, because that fund is very specific as far as what he can use. Under law enforcement equipment, it does have computer accessories and software that
Law enforcement sales tax has that?
Well, it's whatever this,
LEST?
whatever the equitable sharing
Oh,
fund
okay.
is. Again, that is very specific on what is allowed to use, but it is covered to do add software for that. And the reason why we want to stick with, obviously, Spillman, as far as this quote, we don't want to have a different module from some other different company. It's our current sole source provider, I guess you could say, as far as our record management system.
It doesn't sound like this is optional, so I'm.
It is not an optional. Again, it's a unfunded mandate that the federal government is laying down across the United States. There's a lot of agencies that have been UCR reporting, and it's just going to come to an end where if you're not compliant,
Very similar to Rob.
additionally, down the road, I can foresee them saying no more federal funding because you're not compliant with their
And our
rules.
citizens won't be well served with information.
On the recommendation of the IT director, I move that we go use the sole source provider, Missouri IDR, in the amount of $22,563.95.
Second? I'd second the motion.
Any questions? This is, will be funded through that special account that we have for that purpose, and it is a requirement.
Correct.
Okay, seeing no other questions, hearing no questions, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, thank you, Dan. Hang around, Dan.
Yep.
We have a surplus donation, we removed, how old are those phones? They're several years old.
6 years.
6 years, and they were out of date and been hammered on a little bit. And so we've updated our phone system in the last few months, and now we were faced with the task of storing old phones.
113 roughly
Okay.
phones, yes, so.
And so these two have worked together and found a very nice agency. Take it from there, sir.
So we've reached out to the East Missouri Action Agency. They have the exact same type of phone system that we currently used to have. The exact same phones as well as what they used to have, and what we used to have. And we felt that it would be a nice donation to a nonprofit organization of this equipment, because trying to resell used, non-valuable equipment, it would probably generate very little amount to us. And we felt
Please,
that
please, talk to the, front if you want to talk. Go ahead.
they've got several different remote sites for East Missouri Action Agency, and they've got several locations that they could add these phones to, as well as they've got a lot of current broken phones within their fleet as well as far as those phones. So I'm asking for your recommendation to make this donation to the nonprofit organization for East Missouri Action Agency.
Commissioners, East Missouri Action Agency is a not-for-profit Missouri corporation, and it was established in 1965 as a community action agency. The agency has worked in poverty in southeast Missouri. It's comprised of 4 departments: community services, Head Start, housing, and women's wellness. I serve on the East Missouri Action Agency Executive Board, represent the county commissioners. Carrie McCory is their director, along with many other excellent employees. It's a good organization, and I'm proud to say that I'm part of that. We meet once a month, sometimes twice a month, but this is greatly needed. They're very much appreciated, and they've got 2 main offices, the one in Park Hills and the one in Deloge, but they serve the surrounding counties. They extend all the way to Cape Girardeau, and it's part of a federal program, good program. So I would move that we donate the existing funds to the East Missouri Action Agency.
And I'm second motion.
Any questions or comments? I have been on their tours. I've talked to the people they serve. I agree. I'm not on the board or anything, but I agree that they're do a lot of good work. Now, these phones will be used in our offices, not in those homes that they go out and serve.
Correct, it'd be
In
their
our
offices.
offices, it'd be first replacement system, maybe parts, and then added to if they needed, that kind of thing.
Correct.
So, all right. And we'd have to store them if we didn't give them away to that good Missouri improvement.
Correct.
So, any other questions or comments?
It was kind of neat how Dan he approached me and said, "Hey, do you know anything about East Missouri Action Agency?" I said, "Sure, I'm on their board." We got talking. I said, "Well, how about I get you the director's contact?" I gave him, and it all went down. So
Yeah, she was very, very excited and thrilled that we might do it.
The first comment was we could give them to the company that serves them, but I was afraid that would be not a free gift to them.
Right, right.
So it worked out better this way. Okay, hearing no comments or anything, and I have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you, Dan, we appreciate you. Are we ready to go back?
Yes. Looked up, actually it was the same one where we did a bid openings last year for Tracy Black. She had a 61-cent penalty for January. It was tabled because there was not a quorum, and it was put off. And so by the time they got back to it, there was a penalty, very slight, of course, since it was for both March and February, and the commission waived the March and February interest and penalty, very similar to what you did today, and kept her paying the 61 cents for the January.
Do you know the reason for the waiver on, what was the cause of the penalty and interest to be built in? I don't find
You
it-
did find reason to waive penalty. You did not waive the 61 cents.
Okay,
You
so-
waived the interest for February and March because you did not make a decision.
Right.
And therefore, you waived those next 2 months rather than that one.
Okay.
If I can see this, this is the other one that was brought up. Mr. Holler did not receive his 2017 bill due to an error in the collector's office. And the collector had agreed
Okay.
to that. And so we waived the $56.85. You made the motion, and that one, as the collector said, it was her fault, in contrast to the back.
And he paid it in time, and that was the end of the.
That was the end of the story.
Okay.
All I can, Ms. Robinson, I don't have the minutes from that, but I had the video that he took of her, and her claim was that the collector had sent it to a residence in Farmington, which she's never lived at,
Okay.
and never ever came from, so it was the collector's fault, and you all waived that one because she hadn't moved, she hadn't changed, we sent the bill to the wrong place.
In every case I see here, we waived the penalty because it was the county's fault. But and when we waived it, it was the county's fault. And they paid the promptly. So where is the discrepancy?
Commissioner, I apologize, I didn't see these minutes.
Okay.
And, until just now.
Okay.
I just went off video and hearsay what
Yeah.
people were telling me.
Okay, well, we appreciate that.
Now that I have the,
Okay. And
information
sometimes
in front
people
of
get
me.
out and they forget the details and say different things and all that, and we have to go over the evidence that's presented to us at that time. And so, it looks like we followed our policy
It
very
does,
well.
yes.
Okay, well,
and I
okay.
apologize.
That's all right, we appreciate your apologies, thank you, sir. Okay, next topic. go. Proposed amendment on vacation time accrual policy, and Mrs. Mengele is going to be talking to us. Yes.
Hello, Amber Bonjour, Auditor's Office. While reviewing the county policies with our independent auditors last week, it was brought to our attention that there was an inconsistency in the amended vacation policy that went into effect on July 1, 2019. The county's previous vacation policy that was updated and approved on April 10th of 18 stated that vacation would be awarded on an annual basis on their anniversary date of employment. After completion of 1 year of service, employees receive 2 weeks. After 5 years, 3 weeks. 10 years, 4 weeks. 15, 5 weeks. After that, after 25 years through 30 years, you gain an extra day per year. This vacation earned was populated on the employee's paycheck during the pay period of the anniversary date. Our amended vacation policy changed vacation to be awarded on an accrual basis throughout the year. This means employees would earn
Throughout
vacation.
that last year before the anniversary date.
Correct. This
Okay,
means
good.
employees would earn vacation toward their next anniversary date. So somebody who started is earning towards their first year's anniversary date. This allowed new employees to have access to their vacation hours prior to the completion of their first year of service, but in total would still get the 2 weeks at the completion of 1 year. The inconsistency that was discovered pertains to the milestone anniversaries after 1 year of service. The amended policy approved on 7/1/19 states that employees accrue the additional time after completing the milestone anniversary. This means employees wouldn't get that additional week of vacation in a total until the following anniversary, causing a loss of 1 week of vacation. This graph explains and shows each policy. The blue is our original policy. The orange is the policy that was amended and approved last July. And then the gray is what I'm proposing that we would change it to. Let's see.
You're saying it doesn't get it until after the year or in the third quarter of the fourth quarter?
So
If
you
you're
would,
accruing it at 3 weeks. over the
so
period.
when you hit, right now, so example, 5 years, when you hit your 5-year anniversary date
You're accruing it for 3 weeks that year.
is when you start accruing your
Right,
third
so
week.
not after that year.
After you've reached your 5 years of service, you start accruing vacation, is
Right.
what our policy says.
So right now it says that you get 3 weeks at first. The new policy we adopted last year so that you start accruing it at 3 weeks. You don't have to wait till the 6th year to get that third week.
Right, but in total, you would receive that third week until your completion of 6 years of service.
No,
Oh,
you're
you started.
accruing it, you won't get it until the last third of the year. You're accruing it at 3 weeks for the year.
Well, right, but our old policy stated that you
I
got
know
that
that, I'm
third.
talking about the old policy.
Well,
talking
right,
about
I'm
what you
just
said.
saying, well, let me finish here real quick and then we can discuss it.
Okay.
So,
Part one, right.
this will affect every county employee at their next milestone anniversary through 26 years of service. Again, we believe this was an oversight and not intentional. You've been given a copy of the proposed vacation policy to correct this inconsistency by adjusting appropriately for the accrual method. I used the County Road and Bridge Union contract for the wording, since their contract also addresses an accrual method, starting that at the end of your 4th, 9th, and 14th year of service, you start accruing towards your next milestone anniversary, which would be 5, 10, and 15. It is the,
Let me bother you.
Sure.
So you start accruing before you're eligible?
Correct,
But can you take
But
that
it says
vacation
after so
before
many
you get
years
there?
you,
correct, which was the whole intention of why we changed to an accrual method, was to give new employees access to their vacation
Yeah,
early.
in the first batch, yeah.
Correct,
But-
so then if you're accruing at 0 years of service to 1, you would be earning 2 weeks, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and at your 4th year, you would start accruing
so
towards
it's
your
not
5th
really
year of service.